What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel. If you guys are new, welcome. I hope the day is treating everybody super fantastic and the year is started off good. Way better than 2021. We're going to start 2022 with a bang and continue those vibes all the way through the year. I got a lot of big things coming this year. We got Witch Queen, we got raids, dungeons every 3 months. There's going to be content out the wazoo, and I am so excited to help you Guardians out, grinding out content for you guys, making it most efficient for you so we can get that loot in the looter shooter that we all love. And thank you guys so much for always coming back and supporting the channel, just showing me the love with the views, likes, subscriptions. It just means so much to me. It helps me push through and grind out the content for you guys. I just absolutely love y'all, so thank you guys so much for that. And let's get into today's video, going over something I don't see really talked too much about lately, besides throwing on some builds here and there, but they're not talked about in depth. We're talking about elemental well mods. Now, these things are absolutely nutty in my opinion and have so many versatile uses for them. They are just exactly like our Charged with Light mods and our Warmind Cell mods. They are combat style mods. So they go on our armor pieces. Depending on the energy of the armor, you can throw on a different assortment of mods that help in different situations, and they go in that 4th slot on your armor pieces. So as you can see right here on my helmet, that 4th slot, if you go over to the empty mod socket right below it, it says combat style mods, and this is where you will find all of our elemental well mods right here. And like I said, there are different ones based on the energy type of your armor piece. Now, there are 24 of these mods within the game at the moment. 8 of them can go on any type of armor piece at all, so they can fit on arc, solar, void, or stasis. And then each of those certain energy types have 4 mods associated with them. So 4 arc, 4 void, 4 solar, and 4 stasis, giving us our 24 total. Now, they all do very different things, but are also very similar in aspects to Charged with Light mods, as well as Warmind Cells. Kind of a mixture of the two, and I think these things are absolutely great. So next, we're going to show you guys where to find these mods at, and then we're going to cover a little in depth on how these mods work and the different aspects that they give you on your different builds. So to start off, there are 3 different places to obtain these mods, and they are all at the HELM location. First off, right here we have the Splicer Servitor from last season. When you level up its reputation, you unlock the rewards at the bottom, and they are the elemental well mods, which you have to spend mod components on. Next, we have the ward table right here. Once again, increase its rank reputation, and then you can buy these mods right here for the mod components. Last but not least, right here we have our Wayfinders Compass from this season. Same thing as the other 2, increase its reputation, and then as rewards for mod components, you can buy our elemental wells down here. And then you can see this was the first time we got our stasis ones, which I think absolutely slap. Next, there really isn't one single way to get these wells to drop. A bunch of these mods cause them to drop in different fashions, and then this one right here is kind of special because you can use it to charge yourself up with light. So you can have one teammate running these wells so they drop everywhere, and then you can run this mod right here with other Charged with Light mods like protective light, stuff like that, and you can pick up their elemental wells, giving you Charged with Light, which is super awesome. So let's take a look at this mod right here, Elemental Armaments. Combatant weapon final blows with a damage type that matches your subclass element have escalating chances to drop those elemental wells. So like using Vex Mytho class or your Ascendancy Rocket with a solar subclass has a higher chance to spawn those elemental wells. Now, there are other things like this one, defeating combatants with your super has the chance to spawn those elemental wells with the matching subclass type. So Dawnblade kills give you solar wells. Right here, defeating combatants with your grenade spawns them. Different things like that will spawn those wells. You just got to read each one in detail and see which one you are looking for. So if you got a super big grenade class that you're using with like Sunbracer or something like that, you can use this one because defeating those enemies with your grenades spawns those elemental wells, and then you can pair it with other things to build up your character, like this one right here, Phantom Might. Picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type grants temporary bonus weapon damage of that same elemental type. So it pairs perfectly with something like elemental armaments. Like you're using Vex Mythoclast with a solar subclass, you get a bunch of these wells to spawn, you pick them up, and then that Vex will do extra damage because it is the same type as your solar subclass when you're picking up those solar wells. So it has got a super good cohesiveness to it with these different mods, and you can pair them super well together and make some crazy builds. So I believe that these mods kind of fall into 3 different categories based on what they do to kind of simplify the means of how these work. So first off, we have our mods that actually create the wells. So like right here, powered melee combatant final blows, spawn elemental wells matching your subclass type. Like I talked about earlier, weapon final blows that match your elemental type. Everything in those kind of categories that fall in creating the elemental wells, that is your actual first category of all of these 24 that you have. Next, we have the category of the mods that actually help your guardians stay alive or give you extra regeneration for certain abilities. So like Well of Life gives you faster regeneration, so your recovery and your health comes back faster. Well of Tenacity kind of gives you like a protective light vibe, gives you reduced damage taken from combatants for a little while. Lastly, right here, like a Well of Restoration that you have picking up those stasis elemental wells grants you additional energy to your ability that is the lowest. So that would be like the second category for me, is using the wells to actually boost up certain stats within your character, giving it faster energy regeneration, faster supers, faster dodges, and stuff just like that. And lastly, we're going to do the ones that kind of buff your character for a little bit of extra damage depending on what weapons and subclasses you're using, like Phantom Might, giving that weapon that matches your energy subclass to do more damage, or like Well of Ions right here, that picking up arc elemental wells causes your next melee damage to do more. So it just kind of depends on what kind of builds you are running and what you are kind of going for depending on the situation you are going for, just because there are so many different combinations of these mods. Like I said, it's just so versatile and so cohesive when you do pair these all together. For me right now, this is one of my favorite ones that I've been building. So first off, we have Phantom Might on my helmet. So picking up those elemental wells that match my subclass energy type grant temporary bonus damage of the same energy type. Next, right here, we have Well of Ordnance. So picking up those solar elemental wells grant you additional grenade energy, so I can throw a bunch of grenades with this super. Next, right here, another Phantom Might, so I could stack those two together to have that time extend and do extra damage for longer periods of time, because I also have this mod right here, Elemental Time Dilation. So elemental well mods that grant you time-limited benefits can now stack, increasing its duration. So this mod allows us to stack 2 Fonts of Might together. Lastly, right here, we have Explosion Well Maker, so rapidly defeating combatants with explosive damage spawns solar elemental wells. Now to make that happen, we're pairing that with Ascendancy and a grenade launcher right here, as well as Bottom Tree Dawn. So all of those burns with our grenade and melees and our supers causes explosions, which will just spawn solar wells all over the place. We're going to use Dawn Chorus for our exotic because it improves the burn effects and daybreak projectiles, causing us more explosions, more burns all over the place. You'll see so many solar elemental wells using this. Now, the reason that I chose Font of Might is just because I like to have that extra damage when I get those elemental wells for our Vex, especially this one as well. With Chain Reaction, I don't have Explosive Light on it, so it's not getting that extra damage from Explosive Light, but I am getting that extra damage plus the Chain Reaction from using Font of Might when I pick up those elemental wells. Now, I know that that was a lot to go over, and there is a lot of information in this video. There's definitely a crazy amount of different builds that you guys can make with this, depending on what you're running, like I said, depending on your subclass, depending on the activity that you're going into, depending on the weapons that you want to use. So there's not really one simple way to describe these mods, but just kind of showing the effectiveness of the build that I'm using and going over the basics of those certain mods, like spawning the wells, using them to get your abilities back faster, and then using them to buff your character, whether it be with extra damage via your melee or with the guns that you're using, protecting yourself, getting your health back faster, getting your super back faster. There is just so many different options for these, like I said, that it's hard to cover every single one in depth in one single video without the video being about 45 minutes long. So hopefully this helped you guys out, figure out the basics to these well mods. They are absolutely banging, and I definitely suggest giving them a try. Reading through the 24 different variations of the mod and seeing which ones you guys like best. Definitely some that are better than others in my personal opinion, just because I don't use those certain subclasses, or I'm not a big melee grenade person, you know, etc. So definitely get to testing it out. I'll come out with some crazy fun builds using these in the future. If you haven't looked at it, I have a Stasis Zypher sword build that uses these, and it is absolutely nutty on the hunter. So thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.